Alright, today I'll be refuting the claim that NASA's lack of federal funding will eventually harm scientific advancement in the years to come. My opponent backed this up with 3 secondary claims, and my response to her first claim is that NASA has not had any significant technological breakthroughs since funding stopped after the space race, which ended about 1973. In response to her, or to back her claim up, she gave us a bunch of examples about different technological advancements that came out of this time, such as LED lights, memory foam, and life support systems. Her claim is that after the space race, we no longer had these advancements. I actually have contradiction to that, and if you would go on NASA's website and go straight to NASA has a website called NASA Spinoff Database. They actually have a database from 1976 all the way to the present time of technological advancements that they've had. A few of these include air purifiers that kill off pathogens that was developed for use in space stations to keep produce fresh, as well as a jacket that actually keeps you cool when it's hot outside rather than hot when it's warm outside, or rather than hot when it's cold outside, that was developed for spacesuit technology. Her secondary claim is that space would be the strongest developer for the economy. The main problem with this is that it doesn't support the main claim at all, which is NASA's lack of federal funding will eventually harm scientific advancement in coming years. This is in itself a main claim, it seems, and it doesn't help her argument at all. Her third claim is that children have never had a lack of interest in space, and there are many people who grow up wanting to be an astronaut, and that no one is able to be trained to be an astronaut now. The main problem with her claim here, is that her supporting evidence doesn't know where it's going. Her first 2 points are that everyone grew up wanting to go to space, and it's just one of those mandatory phases that children go through. It doesn't really hold up because not everyone will have the same feelings. And one part of the problem with her claim of fact is that she is biased because she's involved with NASA, and it makes her, especially her last claim, hard to back up her main claim. Her last claim does have 3 supporting evidence that doesn't really support the claim itself, but does support her other claims. In conclusion, she does have a valid argument with her first claim, but she doesn't bring up the fact that NASA has continued to bring about technological change even today with a reduced budget, and that her secondary claim does not support her first claim at all, and that it's its own claim at all, and that NASA, if they were given more budget, would be able to stimulate the economy, which she further doesn't show how that would happen. And that is that in my argument.
Well, structurally, things are pretty good. On the first point, you basically are presenting a counterclaim that says we continue to get development of issues. This, to me, was the clearest part of the argument and the part where you had the most direct application of issues. That says, you know, we've produced results without going to space, without flying to other planets, without doing the kinds of things that people think of as, you know, what the astronauts do, because we have continued to operate in space. I think that there's another claim that's missing here that ought to be pretty straightforward, and that is that the United States and NASA are not missing from outer space. We are there, we are present, we in fact continue to have the largest space program in the world, even though we don't have the most ambitious program when it comes to what we're trying to accomplish. You know, I think the Chinese are planning on landing on the moon next year, and we're not close to doing anything like that. But we've got more people working on these issues and more stuff coming out, and I think that that's where you've got a good argument there, and it could be a little bit stronger with some more information about that. So even with the cutbacks, it's still pretty substantial. I think the second point is a perfectly valid argument on the reasoning process, and that is that is not, whether it benefits the economy is not relevant to the other claim that the advocate started off with, the scientific advancement. That sounds like it's its own separate issue and distinct from the point that's being presented here. I think that's a reasonable argument to make. I don't know that you always, though, want to then refrain from making any further argument on it. The notion that we would have a better economy, that could be a fallback position. It would be easy, like if we were having a debate, she might say, okay, well, scientific progress is less important, but we're still, if we spent the money, we'd be improving the economy, and you'll find that people they shift the focus of their arguments all the time.
Yeah.
So it would be good to have kind of a preemptive argument on that. I think you're right when it comes to the main proposition, but it might be a little bit short-sighted when it comes to maybe a longer-term argument. All right. I'm still not sure from either position why kids wanting to be astronauts matters one way or the other. Are we hurting somebody? Are they not becoming astronauts? Have we killed the dream? What does this all mean? And I don't know that either side has kind of articulated it. It's an interesting and poetic concept, but how are we supposed to apply it and utilize it? I think that's problematic. All right, thank you.